So good day, everyone. I have made the case in other videos that the faith traditions best get informed and engaged about these various technological enhancement issues. There's plenty of concerns to be engaged about. Distributive justice, which has to do with fair access. We don't want these technologies to be for just the wealthy and powerful. Job dislocation. Existential threat of super AI, got a video on that. Ron Cole Turner, my main mentor in this work, a Christian theologian and ethicist, has long worked on these issues. He argues there is a legitimate Christian transhumanism. Quote, Ron, Christian transhumanism is not an accommodation to our age. It is instead an affirmation of the radically transformative nature of the hope that lies at the heart of a Christian view of humanity and the cosmos. Well, one way to flesh out Christian transhumanism, if that's something you want to do, or if not, then you can see how it might be done so you can argue against it, is to think carefully about the theologies or the doctrines. I'd like to think through one doctrine as a way, in a very introductory way, as a way of embracing or how Christianity can embrace that which can be healthy and good in transhumanist projects. Resurrection. Now, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam have doctrines of resurrection, but they've gotten this doctrine got much more fully developed in early Christian thought. Karmic religions have stories and concepts of resurrection, but Christianity brings this to center stage. The Christian word anastasis, literally, stasis is stand, ana is up, preposition up. So two forms of resurrection in early Christianity writings: resuscitation of the dead is, or mere resuscitation of the dead is standing up to the same, standing up the same body that we had before, except that the disease that killed that body is miraculously gone. And Jesus resuscitates from the dead Lazarus, for example. But then resuscitation from the dead is different from a raising, a resurrection to eternal life with God, with new abilities and possibilities. And I call this transformative resurrection. And I'll focus on a key text in the ancient Christian writer Paul. Other than Jesus, the Apostle Paul was the most influential figure in first century Christianity. He started churches, he wrote letters to those churches, and those letters contain some of the building blocks for later, more systematic development of Christian theology. So the clearest presentation of transformative resurrection by Paul is in the first letter to Corinthian church, especially chapter 15. Now, Paul was influenced in various places and ways by both Hellenistic and Jewish cultural and religious background. On resurrection, transformative resurrection, he is grounded in his Jewish background, in my view. So regarding theological anthropology, and by that I mean what it means to be human, what it means to be a person from a theological perspective. The normative Jewish view that would have been available to Paul as a Jew is what we call psychosomatic unity. That is, we're not various parts, body, soul, and spirit, somehow stapled together that can be dissected. We are a whole. It's a holistic view of the human being. So transformative resurrection is not of some soul, but of a whole person, including their physicality or their embodiments. Paul uses the term, Greek word soma, body. Soma is intimately related to the person as a whole. Does not mean our physical body alone, but maybe an emphasis on physicality, but the physicality does not stand alone in any sense. And in a very, what I think is a very significant theological move, Paul combined the word soma, body, with pneumatikon, spiritual, to name the resurrected existence as soma pneumatikon, spiritual body. Now that's a weird term. How can a physical body be spiritual, right? But Paul models this on the existence or the experience of Jesus Christ, who was the first fruits. He was transformatively raised from the dead, and it kind of provides the model for the believer's resurrection. And the raised Christ clearly was a continuation of the pre-death Jesus, but the raised Christ could move through doors and appear on a remote road to travelers and so on. So it was a transformed body / person. Now, some Christians today think of the soul apart from the body as being saved and then raised into immortality. And they probably don't realize it, many of Christians who believe this, but that's more akin to immortality and transmigration of the soul found in karmic religions like Hinduism, and also certain Hellenistic influences in the first century Christian world. So that's fine as a view if you want to hold that view. I'm not arguing against that view, but I'm just saying that's not the Jewish concept of a person, and it's not Paul's concept. So Paul goes on to say that this transformed soma pneumatikon, spiritual body, has wildly new possibilities. Its raised body is, and I quote from Paul, imperishable, glorious, and powerful. Flesh and blood it is not. It can move through doors. Now, I might add that Paul is not an engineer or a physicist working out the technical particulars of this particular spiritual body, which on the face of it makes no sense. Paul is making these assertions that he's making theological assertions that reflect the ideas that we are holistic with physical, spiritual, mental, affective dimensions, but all in one person that cannot be separated out. And so transformative resurrection is a transformation of all of who we are in those aspects. Now, what does all this have to do with the future, even have to do with transhumanism and its projects of super longevity and radically technologically enhancing people? So I want to be clear. I am not saying that Paul saw the future or even is literally and directly anticipating the technologies of the scientific age. That's a misreading of an ancient writer. I am saying that Paul's notion of transformative resurrection can provide an opening, a window, an inspiration for the monotheistic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, to reach for a vision that remains true to key scriptural and theological principles in those religions while incorporating rapidly advancing enhancement technologies. I mean, imperishable, glorious, and powerful are Paul's words. Those are words transhumanists can cheer about. Imperishable, super longevity, powerful, enhanced. So with sophisticated robots and tissue engineering and regenerative medicine, the future bodies can look and feel like the bodies we have now, if that's your preference. Now, I can anticipate plenty of objections to this use of resurrection in the technological world among Christian theologians and thinkers. Some theologians might object that a newly grown body or a whole robotically enhanced body would not be made of the same stuff, biological, that humans have, and so can't be person, can't be whatever. Paul, however, saw the resurrected body as both consistent with the Jewish insistence on physicality and different with new capabilities. Could have moved through doors. That's not biological in the usual sense. So that's some preliminary thinking about resurrection and how that doctrine might be reimagined in a tech world that Christianity wants to be relevant in. I do have, some more, another book coming out where I'll talk about this, and I do talk about this somewhat in the Religion and Technological Future book. I want to keep this around 10 minutes, so maybe I'll address some of those other objections in later videos. In this one, I just want to show how a biblical traditional doctrine can be reimagined in a way that provides an opening for the coming tech world. Thank you, and you have a good day.